So I am a rule follower, and I'm not sure that I'm all that comfortable with, but I'm a little confused too, because some of the stuff that I've seen, if I was from out of town, I'd be like, oh, that's private, but some of the stuff that I've seen, I'm kind of like, I don't think so. I think you just put up that sign there because you don't want people coming into your little area or what you think is your little area. Hey, it's Trixie. This video is going to be something a little different. I know everyone is waiting for the final episode of my through hike, and I promise it will be the next video. But in the meantime, I just wanted to address some of the issues that I had in producing the last video. There was a ton of footage that I didn't use, and it was all because I wasn't sure what was exactly going on. So I wanted to do a little footwork and see what conclusions I came up with the questions that came up for me while I was on trail. So let me show you what I mean. This is interesting, a little bit of a road hazard. Well, I think they just don't want people four-wheeling back here, off-roading. I believe this is El Capitan Truck Trail. Okay, another little hazard. Yeah, they're blocking off this section. So that was right after the Rainbird alternate, and this next one is right after Oak Oasis Campground. I thought this was going to be a confidence marker, but it looks like they're installing some sort of fence. I hope there's a gate. It looks like people use this quite a bit with foot traffic and gates as well. Oh, there's a for sale sign up ahead. Maybe that's why. So on the 9th night, some lovely trail angels let me sleep in their carport, and to protect their privacy, I just showed a bowl of soup that they shared with me. But they were very interested in the trail, and we had some great talks about it and also what was going on in the area. So they informed me that first clip that I showed you of the berms, each end of the berm, up to El Capitan Truck Trail, they informed me that land had just sold. And so I had all kinds of questions for them, and I wish I had much more information to share with you, but it remains to be seen. They had yet to meet the new owners, and so they really couldn't say whether or not these people were going to still allow passage of the hikers or possibly fence it off. In the Oak Oasis clip, that was actually blocked off at one point, and the locals didn't like that. And so they just traipsed through anyways, and what happened was they were ending up walking through campsites, disturbing people in the middle of the night. And so the staff there said, why fight this? Let's make a corridor that would be safe for them to go down. And so that's what you saw in the clip. The property behind there, that is separate, and that obviously was for sale. I'm not sure if it has sold already. It may have at this point. It remains to be seen if the new owners are going to let you pass that way. So these are just two examples of land being sold and may not necessarily be a path for future hikers to follow. So the next few clips are regarding the most controversial section of the entire trail. Oh, okay. Here's a gate. That's National Forest. So I don't know what the deal is there, and when somebody passed by me, they smiled and waved. So I don't know if that's because I'm a female and I'm non-threatening, or or they know it's BS too. Okay, so there is a fence there. but it says, you know, it doesn't matter. I could get around it, but the truck trail, El Cajon truck trail, goes off to the left, and I need to go to the right. So there's all kinds of barbed wire here too. So I guess I'm going up right here. So the ambiguity in this area is overwhelming. This is the backside of El Cajon Mountain that you have to bushwhack. It's the area leading up to the bushwhack. So when you get to that gate, there is an option to go straight up the mountain and start your bushwhack there. And the reason why some people have chosen to do that is because there is a gentleman in that area that is notorious, apparently, for shooting at hikers. Because of my experience in Cuyamaca, I really weighed the situation. There's also another way to go, but that way I think then makes you trespass on Indian reservation. And so here's the thing. As I was walking along, I was very much paying close attention to my Garmin device and where I was on the map. And so, well, and we all know how that turned out, but according to my device, I was never trespassing on anyone's land. I was on Forest Road the whole time, so Forest Road 13S10, also known as the Westerly Road, also known as El Capitan Truck Trail. So what I've heard is that this gentleman has an easement to use the Forest Service Road to get to his property. He owns private land out there, but in order to get to his property, you have to pass through the forest and use this road. There's no other road out there to his property. So he has taken it upon himself to post signs on that gate. There's a beware of dog sign, and there's also, you know, a no trespassing. The Forest Service has no such signs out there. And so I was curious about this because, again, I checked my map. I couldn't see that I was trespassing. I think I made the right decision because I knew there was a bushwhack up ahead of me. I didn't want to elongate it by trying to go into the scrub then. And honestly, I was safer not doing that. And especially considering that by the end of that day, I had been out of water for a while. So I took my chances. You know, everybody has to hike their own hike. I may have different results just because of who I am. It could be because I'm female. It could be because I'm smaller. But like I said in the clip, people waved at me. But I wanted to check in. And so I called Cleveland National Forest, and the representative I spoke to, you know, and I was up front. I said, hey, I was out on this back road. I was through hiking. He was familiar with the San Diego Trans-County Trail. And I said, this is what I did. What should I have done? Was I in the right? Was I in the wrong? I told him about the signage that was out there. He let me know, A, that signage is not supposed to be out there. That gentleman has no right to post those signs. And B, I shouldn't have been on that road. My understanding is that any Forest Service road is public land. It wasn't otherwise posted out there that you weren't supposed to be out there, but in his opinion and in speaking with him, he said that you're not. And so there are sections of El Capitan Truck Trail that you're allowed to hike on, but you would literally have to levitate and go over to that section because the section in between is not allowed. So there's been several things in the works over the years and trying to rectify this problem because, again, you know, as I come up on the actual bushwhack that everyone does, there's been talk about putting in an actual trail for decades, and it always seems to get caught up in politics. So I'll talk more about that at the end of the video, but as it is right now, the only legal way to pass through is to go Wildcat Canyon Road, and I do not recommend that. It's so extremely dangerous. So it's just beyond dangerous, and I don't think anybody should take that route. The other option to go through the Indian reservation, I called the reservation administration offices as well, and I spoke with them, and I said, what's going on here? How is that? You know, are we allowed to go on the truck trail? It's a different truck trail. And they said, no, you are not. It is Indian reservation. You are not allowed to go out there unless you have a formal guide. And I said, great. I'd be happy to pay the Indian reservation for use of their land. How do I sign up for a guide? And they said, you don't. They do not offer that service. They don't want to guide anybody through the land. It didn't even sound like it was on the radar to even come up with some sort of solution with the county. They've talked about it. There's no movement there. So they did say, you know, if you happen to know somebody and they wanted to take the time to guide you through, that would be fine. But I don't know anyone. Maybe you do. The next clip is about water. It was like the water at Blue Sky Ranch. I'm pretty sure that was city. That was not inside of a property line. That was on the outside on a city road. So I'm just kind of like, you know, and somehow it was shut off, and she just coincidentally happened to be selling water. Come on. Oklahona's known as the toughest hike in San Diego, and for you to shut off the water, that's ridiculous. It's unsafe, and it's just not. So it's something that I'm gonna look into. I was wrong. El Capitan Preserve is public land, but the road leading up to it is actually a private road, and that spigot is actually private. It is owned by Blue Sky Ranch. They used to leave it open, but after I called and I spoke with a representative from there, they told me that they're on a well, and they used to leave it open, but people were leaving the valve open and it was leaking all over everywhere, and consequently one of their wells ran dry. So but I do stand by the rest of my remark that it is a huge safety issue, and really the county needs to step up and sink their own well just for the safety and to manage resources a little better for that area. The next clips are in Muth Valley. Okay, I think I'm supposed to turn left here. Via Cortale. That's weird. I wonder if they're gonna put a house up there? I've just never seen. Maybe it's gonna be a public space. So the signage on that gate threw me off. I was able to call around, and I finally got a hold of Mike, who is the owner at Trevi Hills Winery, and that's over on Muth Valley Road. I asked him about the space and then about the legality, if people can just walk through there. Again, total transparency. I told him, I've already done this. I walked through. I hope I wasn't breaking any rules. And he told me that the space that was under construction is actually owned by the winery, and what it's going to be is a event, kind of outdoor event place, you know, like to have outdoor weddings, so on and so forth. There will be a brick and mortar building with restrooms. and outdoor water spigot. So I asked him, I said, well, about once a year, in the wintertime, people come through, and not very many, just a handful of people. Would you be okay with people using your spigot? And he said, yeah, that's fine. So that is going to be available. I don't know if that gate is going to be locked all the time. I forgot to ask about that. I don't know. But the winery is also just about, I think it's less than a mile down the road. I'll insert a map. And he invited hikers to come down there, take a little rest, have a sample, and fill up water for free. So I asked him if he would also offer camping, and he said because of the size of the property that there was just really no available space for that. So I tried. But I asked him about the signage that I saw, and I said, what's the deal with that? Is it public? Is it private? And he said it's similar to country estates. And if you're from this area, you know about country estates. It's a kind of little neighborhood out in Ramona where I feel more than comfortable walking around. No one's going to stop me. There's tons of hiking trails around there. The residents do pay a fee, and the fees cover their country club, and they have a pool, and they have a bar, and they have a restaurant, and they have a golf club and all that. And so that's what their dues go to. So in a way, their neighborhood is private, but there's no gate surrounding it. The public is free to walk around. It's not a big deal. So I asked him about that. Because he told me, well, technically it is private. And I said, well, is it like country estates kind of private? And he said, yeah, exactly. It's kind of interesting because one of the reasons I wanted to vlog this trail was to bring awareness. And I really would like to see, I think, with support, and way more water resources, this would be a really fun, cool trail for San Diegans and anybody else. We could, we're a big tourism town. We could bring people from all over the world. They come for the PCT. Why wouldn't they want to do this too? I really do feel that way. It's such a missed opportunity for our community, and as a hiker on trail, this ambiguity, it made me hugely uncomfortable. Like I said in the opening clip, I'm a rule follower, and so I really want to follow the rules, but really after, as you can see, it took me weeks to make these phone calls, and I kept getting the runaround. People weren't, calling me back. I was asking specific questions. I was sending emails, and people kept blowing me off, and I wish I could present more clear information, but it's just not available at this time. So if there was anything in this video that bothered you, maybe you think I didn't have any business back there, or nobody does, or maybe you think that, yeah, El Cajon Mountain does need a water resource, or that bushwhack section should be a legitimized trail, or the whole dang trail should be legitimized. The issue being that they've started and stopped this project so many times, and it always gets caught up in politics. The last thing I heard was, somebody got mad at somebody else, and so they squashed this initiative, and it's like, really? So, and really, even if you never set foot on trail, the economic side of this, it can only be a winning situation, as we're all struggling to kind of climb back out of that COVID hole, especially in these rural communities. A trail offers an opportunity to bring commerce to these areas, and it's really a missed opportunity. So I hope that you feel strongly enough one way or the other to do something about it. This particular section, I strongly encourage you to contact the County Board of Supervisors and the supervisor in your area. And if you don't know which district you live in, I'm going to put a map in right here. So I really, and I'll put the Board of Supervisors, the supervisor's contact info in the details of the video below. So this particular section is in Joel Anderson's district, so I'm going to insert his contact info right here. Send him an email, give us an office a call, and just say, hey, what's going on with San Diego Trans-County Trail? Something needs to give. Push it forward or shut it down, something. You know, the community can only benefit, and the early issues that I showed you with land selling, if we wait too much longer, these parcels are going to be sold and the passage blocked. So if we're able to jump in now and kind of say, hey, we're legitimately distinguishing this trail, then that's going to be grandfathered in no matter what parcel of land sells to whom. So I hope you feel as strongly about this as I do, and I really encourage you to do something about it. I hope this information was helpful to you future through hikers, and if you're in the community, you know, you learn something more about what's going on around you, and even if you don't live here, you know, it's an important discussion about our public lands. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you on trail.